Welcome to the Season 4 premiere of WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. Coming up, the West Coast Conference makes history with its new hiring initiative. Plus, the NBA draft is on the horizon. We break down a few of the guys who could hear their names called soon. And he was named the best college golfer this year, and now he's playing on the PGA Tour. We go one-on-one with Pepperdine alum Sahith Theegala. But first, we'd normally be previewing the fall sports season, but this isn't a typical year. The West Coast Conference postponed all fall sports due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 10 school presidents voted to postpone all competition with the intent of trying to play those sports in the spring of 2021. Those sports include men's and women's soccer, women's volleyball, and men's and women's cross country. However, schools can schedule non-conference competition in low-risk sports as defined by the NCAA. The WCC is also committed to playing men's and women's basketball seasons this winter in a safe environment. Here's what WCC Commissioner Gloria Nevarez had to say. "We empathize with our student athletes. This is a difficult decision, but it is the responsible decision based on the available information associated with conducting competition in the current environment. WCC programs compete for national titles, and we never want to take these opportunities away. However, health and safety will always be paramount in guiding our decisions." Meanwhile, the WCC made history in early August with the announcement of a diversity hiring commitment called the Russell Rule. It's named for the winningest player in basketball history, former WCC and NBA legend Bill Russell. The Russell Rule requires each of the 10 WCC schools to include a member of a traditionally underrepresented community in the pool of final candidates for almost every administrative and coaching job in the athletic department. This also applies to the conference office. It's the first conference-wide diversity hiring commitment in Division I sports. And Dr. Richard Lapchick in the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sport, or TIDES, will create an annual race and gender report card for each institution, called the Russell Report. Here's what Bill Russell had to say. "It is my hope the West Coast Conference initiative will encourage other leagues and schools to make similar commitments. We need to be intentional if we're going to make real change for people of color in leadership positions in college athletics. I'm proud to assist the WCC and Commissioner Nevarez by endorsing this most important initiative." The Russell Rule is part of a larger conference-wide commitment to combat social injustice. The WCC's Committee on Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, or EDI, will expand. All 10 schools will be represented, including student athletes and administrators. The conference hosted several educational webinars on anti-racism earlier this summer. Over 500 student athletes and 400 coaches and administrators participated. WCC schools are making a civic engagement pledge to facilitate annual voter education and registration for student athletes. The conference is producing a video message that'll be played before all WCC games, both in venue and on WCC network broadcasts. And starting this year, the WCC office is observing Juneteenth as an official holiday. 5 former basketball players from the WCC have been picked in the NBA draft in the last 4 years, including 2 first-round picks last year. This year's draft is scheduled for mid-October, and once again, several WCC players may hear their names called.
Killian Tilly hits a triple.
I was really impressed with the skill set and the versatility of Killian Tilly. There's no doubt about that. He's a guy that doesn't have to shoot the ball a whole lot, but can still hurt you. You can run offense through him and to him, and there are not a lot of players like that. And he has great size.
You know, the only thing that's holding Tilly back was injuries. Yep. If he's healthy, it's a no-brainer. You know, shoots the ball, he can put it on the floor, he can deck it. 6'10", you know, I mean, he fits everything that they're doing right now in the league. And I think that for him, the biggest thing is now he gets a chance to concentrate solely on his body, staying healthy, doing the things that he needs to do.
I'm pretty versatile. I can do a little bit of everything. But the thing that they can expect me to do is just, you know, come back on go on the court every time and play hard until I go out and you know, dive on the floor, do all the little things that team needs, and so that's what they can expect me to do.
Childs, nice catch and scores with a foul.
You know, I really love his game. I've seen him play since high school. I feel like with the right situation, the way the NBA is played, Yoli he can play 5 in the league. I thought he became a good passer as his time went on. I still feel like he can rebound the ball. He did try to stretch it out a little bit and shoot it.
Yoli Childs was just a monster against us. He was a monster against a lot of people, but he is sneaky, athletic, has a soft touch, was able to start stepping out and hit the 3 ball. I think he's gonna play for a long time.
Time to take a break. When we come back, we recap the biggest stories from across the conference over the last few months. And what a wild year it's been for Sahith Theegala. We check in with the former Pepperdine golfer who's now making a career on the links when we come back. This episode of WCC All-Access is brought to you in part by Nike, Just Do It, and University Credit Union, who invites WCC alumni and fans to bank with your brain and open an account today. We're back on WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. It's time to go down the coast and see what's making headlines around the conference. We start on the East Coast, where WCC legend Steve Nash will be for the next few years. The former Santa Clara great is the new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. The Basketball Hall of Famer is the 4th active NBA head coach to have played in the WCC, and second Bronco, along with his former teammate, Atlanta Hawks head coach Lloyd Pierce. You may have missed this in March, but LMU has a new bench boss. Stan Johnson comes to LA after spending the last 5 seasons as an assistant coach at Marquette. He previously worked at Arizona State, Utah, and CSUN. A historic hire in San Diego, where MJ Knighton is the new head softball coach. She becomes the first black women's head coach in any sport in USD history, and the first black head softball coach in conference history. And at 25, Knighton is also the youngest head softball coach in the country. She was an assistant coach with the Toreros last season. Congrats! Meanwhile, Damon Stoudemire is staying in Stockton. Pacific's men's basketball coach signed a contract extension through the 2025-26 season. Stoudemire was named the WCC Coach of the Year last season after leading the Tigers to 23 wins and a 3rd place finish in conference. More coaching news from other Tiger teams. Robin Goodman is the new men's tennis coach at Pacific. He was an assistant coach at New Mexico for the last 4 seasons. And the Tigers removed the interim tag from baseball coach Chris Rodriguez's title. He took over earlier this year and led the Tigers to an 8-9 record before COVID cut the season short. On the water, Gonzaga has a new rowing coach. Andrew Derrick takes the helm of a Zags program that's won 5 straight WCC titles. Derrick comes to Spokane from Seattle Pacific, where he led the Falcons for the last 4 seasons. And back on land, we've seen the last of Filip Petrusev in a Gonzaga uniform. Last season's WCC Player of the Year is leaving school to focus on his pro career. While he's still eligible for the NBA draft, the native of Serbia signed a deal to play in his home country. Petrusev led the Zags with almost 18 points and 8 rebounds per game last season. College sports are still sidelined, but many professional leagues are back in action. That means plenty of WCC alumni are competing at the highest levels. A pair of former WCC soccer stars led their squad to a championship this summer. Portland alum Sophie Schmidt and Pepperdine's Bree Visali led the Houston Dash to the NWSL Challenge Cup title. Schmidt scored the game-winning goal in the championship match. The LPGA Tour is back, and a former Wave is on top of her game. Danielle Kang won back-to-back tournaments in early August. The former Pepperdine star won the Drive On Championship and the Marathon Classic by a stroke each.
I worked really hard for the last 7 months, and we did a lot of great work, and I'm glad Butch had 7 months off and got to spend all this time with me, so I'm really excited right now.
On the hardwood, Gonzaga alum Courtney Vandersloot is tearing up the WNBA. She is clearly the best point guard playing right now, leading the league in every major assist category. In the NBA, a handful of former WCC stars had great returns to the court. The only guy still playing in September is Kelly Olynyk of the Miami Heat. A pair of Zag rookies had great first seasons. Rui Hachimura averaged over 13 points and 6 rebounds in the NBA bubble, and Brandon Clark dropped 11 and 6 for the Grizz.
I always knew as a player that I could be, an NBA player, a player that could help a team win. But just to have it actually happen was something that I had, lots of fun with.
And on the diamond, LMU alum David Fletcher is among the league leaders in batting average. A pair of Gales, Tony Gonsolin and Corbin Burns, are putting up stellar numbers in their second seasons, and former Don Adam Simber continues to impress for Cleveland. He won all 3 major National Player of the Year awards. His team finished the season ranked #1 in the country, and he's now playing on the PGA Tour. And yet, life is strange for Pepperdine alum Sahith Theegala. The last 6 to 12 months have just been, it feels like 5 years packed into 1 year. What's sort of been the strangest or most bizarre part about the last year for you?
Yeah, obviously, I think probably the worst part, I guess I could start with, is just having our season canceled there at the end. Just knowing that we were having such a good year as a team, and the fact that we didn't even get a chance to close out was definitely such a bummer. Just like, no matter how good we feel about, finishing #1 and how good I felt about picking up the awards, it's just like, it's just no closure. Just no closure. I feel like even if we at least got to, conference or regionals and did something there, we'd feel like, okay, we kind of put ourselves in the crunch time and performed, but we didn't even get a shot to do that. So we're taking it with a grain of salt for sure. I mean, we're proud of what we did, but ultimately, a national championship, and you can't replace that.
And the young superstar from Pepperdine, Sahith Theegala.
So you do go pro, and you got to play in some PGA Tour events, but I imagine that even feels different because of the pandemic. How weird is it? I'm sure there are a lot of health and safety protocols you have to go through before you actually can compete, and then you get there and there's no fans.
I know. It's wild. I will say they've been doing a great job of being able to keep tournaments while having player safety and everyone's safety is the priority. But it's definitely so strange. I never envisioned playing my first few PGA Tour events without friends and family coming and watching. I mean, my dad's watched such a large majority of my events, and for him not to be at some of the biggest events of my life is definitely sucks for sure. Obviously, it was still super exciting. I think I got some of the nervous energy out of the way. But man, you really, I can't even explain how different it feels, because I was lucky enough to play in a couple events with fans and with all the stuff that surrounds that, and obviously the golf part is still the same, but yeah, it feels totally different.
Along with turning professional, there's more attention. You've had articles in the New York Times, The Athletic, Golf Week. Is that something that you anticipated going into it, and how do you think you've handled it so far?
Yeah, I definitely expected a little bit especially after learning that I won the 3 awards. I was like, that's definitely something that's somewhat historic, and obviously I'm super pumped about that still. But I knew that there was definitely going to be some media attention afterwards, and I just took it in stride. I mean, I saw it as nothing can be other than positive, especially if I don't let it affect what I would normally be doing. So I'm not going to go out of my way to stop practice midway and go talk to these people, kind of thing. If I have time during a certain allotment, I'll absolutely be happy to do stuff like that. And obviously it's nice to have positive stuff written about you. So it's been a lot of fun, actually, and it's definitely been exciting to be able to be a part of all those things, such as the New York Times, and it's been fun. It's been a fun ride.
When we come back, what's trending on social media? We'll check out the best tweets and posts from around the conference. And it was one of the best games in WCC Basketball Tournament history. Jordan Ford and Colbey Ross gave us all a show in March. They talk about it together when we come back. This episode comes to you courtesy of Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. And Shamrock Office Solutions. delivering Ricoh digital copier and IT solutions to the Bay Area for over 19 years. Here are some of the best moments on social media. As we said earlier, Portland alum Sophie Schmidt scored the game-winning goal in the NWSL Challenge Cup championship match. Here's another look at the PK. Way to go! Is there anyone hotter than Courtney Vandersloot? The former Gonzaga guard leads the WNBA in assists, assists per game, and assists to turnover ratio. And it's not even close. Talk about a hot hand. And good news for the WCC, as two of its best players are coming back for one more year. Gonzaga's Corey Kispert and Pepperdine's Colbey Ross withdrew their names from the NBA draft list and are coming back to school. Both are first-team All-WCC players. Welcome back to WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. If you were at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas on March 7th, you saw one of the best games in WCC tournament history. If you were at home, maybe you watched on TV as the two best point guards in the conference went head-to-head. Jordan Ford of St. Mary's and Pepperdine's Colbey Ross rewrote the record books that night, and recently we got them together to relive that epic matchup.
When we found out that they won to advance, I was really excited because I knew it was going to be a great matchup, and not only for us but for the fans as well.
It was just a really good matchup. Just seeing the two best guards in the WCC, I think it was something everyone wanted to see.
Colbey was hitting a lot of shots, man, and we were up like 10 points, like you said, and it felt like we were gonna pull away, and then all of a sudden, he come back and hit back-to-back triples, and it was just like, man, it was just unbelievable. It was just unbelievable,
Here's Ross, spins back, Ross to the bucket, and a foul!
I think I just come off a ball screen, and Kusi was guarding me, so he's doing a good job guarding me, but I feel like once I get into the paint, and can get someone on my back, that's something I look to do. And then once I got the N1, I knew that was big for the team.
Jordan Ford trying to lean in. The heave. Good! Oh my.
I caught the ball with about 7 seconds on the shot clock. And I knew I was going to try to get a shot, to create my own shot. And I came off a ball screen, and I was able to get Altman up in the air a few times earlier in the game. So I tried to pump fake him and try and get him in the air and lean into him, but he didn't go for the pump fake. So I was able to spin around and just hoist up a shot, and it went in. So
great shot, good defense, but good offense beats good defense any day.
I just went over there and I just said, "You're unbelievable," just because he's been doing this all season, and he's had a great career so far. And that was the last time we would match up together, so I kind of just had to express how I felt his game was, and I just thought it was an unbelievable performance, and that was probably the best matchup I've had, so I had to go express that to him.
During the game, we're competing, we're battling, trying to win, but at the end of the game, you gotta, just realize, what a game that was, and what a competitor, he is, and so, just letting him know, how great of a game he had, the battles we had during the year, so, it was just fun. That moment, will always, stick in my mind.
One more block to go. Coming up, we'll run down a few key dates to look out for on your calendars. And some of the best plays from last fall reimagined. We let the student athletes who made those plays call them. That's on the other side of this break. You're watching this episode thanks to our sponsors, Heffernan Insurance, because you're different. And Don Francisco's Coffee. Premium quality, great tasting, family crafted coffee since 1870. Backed by 150 years of coffee roasting expertise for a perfect cup every time. Here's what to watch for over the next few weeks. We should have a better idea soon of when the college basketball seasons will start. The men's and women's basketball oversight committees will give recommendations for the start of the seasons to the NCAA Division I Council by mid-September. Welcome back to WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. We have some great play-by-play announcers in the West Coast Conference, but no live games mean no live broadcasts, which means no great calls. So we decided to let the student athletes themselves get behind the mic and relive some of their great moments from last season. Take a look.
Turnbull with the turn, a penetrative dribble towards goal. Turnbull winds up and goal! She put just enough power behind it to where the goalkeeper couldn't even get a finger on it.
BYU makes a great save out of a system set, swing down the line, and it's a dig by Madison Shields. Shoulder kill, is it in? Let's look at that replay. She steps into the line and it's in.
Now we see Connor Mance and Jake Heslington, two BYU Cougars coming down the home stretch, and it looks like Danny Carney is in third place right now. The BYU sweep of the top 3 positions. Let's take another look here, and as you can see, it looks like there they are coming down the finish straight with Jake Heslington nearly catching his teammate Connor Mance, and more Cougars coming down. Looks like a Cougar victory at the WCC Championships.
We have Miguel Berry coming down the line. 1v1 against the defender, beats him down line, looks to cross it and finds Alex Chernis at the back post to make it 4-1 USD. Alex Chernis looking right here with his signature Naruto run celebration that we've seen throughout the season. And here we see it again. Miguel with a beautiful move to a beautiful pass back post to find Alex Chernis with a beautiful finish to make it 4-1.
They look pretty even right now. Whitney Orton with the last little surge and the win to Orton. And a nail biter. All right, let's take another look. Looks like Whitney Orton had just enough to hold off Erica Burke in those final few steps.
That'll do it. Thank you for watching the Season 4 premiere of WCC All-Access. See you next time. This episode was brought to you in part by Reveal Suits, the official business apparel partner of the West Coast Conference. It's what's inside. Visit revealsuits.com. And Signature Championship Rings. Your success set in stone.